cheese in all its forms. I like every flavor of cheese. I love cheese. Today I'm going to make some Brie bites. They're like a pie crust with a creamy chunk of Brie cheese, and then covered in caramelized onions and crispy bacon. So the first thing I need to do is cut up my bacon into tiny pieces and then fry it up in the frying pan. So I have a 12-ounce package of bacon here. This is a fun appetizer to bring to a cocktail party. This is also one of my best friend's favorite things. And since we're going to her house this evening, that's what I'm bringing. Alright, so I've had my frying pan heating up. We're going to go drop this in. So I have my frying pan on hot. Well, it's about medium. I'm going to tear apart each little slice of bacon because we want to get each piece really crispy. And then we're going to cook them up. I like crispy bacon. If you like chewy bacon, chew it. You can also microwave it. I just prefer a frying pan. I actually prefer an oven. My husband does not prefer cleaning the oven pan, so every once in a while, I'll be nice. And then we're going to use the leftover bacon grease that we have and caramelize our onions in it. So while our bacon is sizzling, I'm going to slice an onion. So I'm going to take off the outer part because that's hard and yucky. Alright, then we are going to thin slices. Y'all, if my mother-in-law is watching this, she's going nuts right now. But just so you know, my cutting glove is in the laundry. Otherwise, I would have it on the hand. She bought me cutting gloves because I have an uncanny knack for slicing fingers open. We'll finish this up, and then we'll get back to the bacon. Once the bacon is finished, we will throw those onions in the frying pan. So earlier today, I made pie dough, which pâte brisée, as my mother-in-law would say, is in an earlier video, so you're more than welcome to go look at it. Or you can use a store-bought pie crust, or crescent rolls, or pretty much any foundation you want. Alright, so I'm going to roll this out. I'm going to take my pizza cutter because it makes my life a whole lot easier. I'm going to cut off edges. I'm going to make these in squares because I like the way the pie crust folds around the cheese. In order to do that, I'm going to cut away all of the rough edges. of these are going to be too small. I could already tell you. So if they're too small, just wait. We can re-roll out that dough. We're going to press it into our mini muffin pan. If you want, you can make these in big muffin pans, but since this is a cocktail party, I thought I would make them a little bit smaller. If you're using any other kind of dough, you're going to need to grease the pan, but since I use my pie crust that has butter and shortening in it, it will grease the pan as it cooks on its own. So once we do this, we are going to cut our wheel of Brie. And we're going to bake these at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes until the pie crust cooks and the Brie cheese melts right in. And these are artisan, so they can be any size or shape you want. If you wanted to cut out individual circles, you can. I'll be doing that at another time with another recipe. This one, I'm just going to use squares or rectangles really, and make them all different shapes and sizes. See, I tore that one, so let's just stuff a little bit more crust down at the bottom. Alright, and we can save this pie crust and use it later. In the meantime, let's take our wheel of Brie and we are going to cut it. Little pieces. You want pieces small enough that they're going to fit inside your little cups. And then we just repeat the process until we're out of Brie. So our bacon is cooked, as you can tell. Some of it a little overcooked. We're just going to pull it off, put it in this little bowl, and save it for later. And in the meantime, we're going to caramelize our onions. Now you can, if you want to make your bacon in the microwave or in the oven, you're just going to need to grease your pan. I'm going to save my butter, because we like butter around here. And I'm just going to pull the bacon off and put my caramelized onions, or my onions in bacon grease to caramelize. So these are going to need to cook for about 30 to 40 minutes. It takes a while to caramelize onions. So we're just going to leave them be on the stove. So our Brie is out of the oven. We are just going to, I use a fondue fork, but I'm just going to lift them out, put them on my tray. This is what we're going to serve them at the party, I mean. And then, see how they just slide out? That's what happens when you use a butter crust. Then we're going to take the onions, should be done now, and we're going to mix them with the bacon and then just scoop a little bit out onto each of these little bites. So our onions are caramelized. Now we're going to pull them off and add them to our bacon in that bowl. Also turn the heat off. Once we get all of the onions out, we are going to mix this up. So we mix the onions and the bacon. we're going to go add them to our Brie. So I've got my Brie, my bacon, and my onions, and we're just going to take a little bit of this mixture and drop it onto each little bite so that you get a little bit of bacon, a little bit of onion, Brie, and that pie crust all in one.